Welcome, everyone, to the very first episode of My DNA. This is going to be an ongoing series that covers everything from DNA, even origin stories before the DNA. So we're talking about a deep dive into over 20 years of history, and our very first episode will kick off with what I like to call origin stories. You got to know the beginning before you know the rest. So welcome to episode 1.
Oh, I didn't even see you. Come on in, this is my crib. So this is our favorite area in the house, the living room. Don't know what it's called in other countries or, rec room, but this isn't really a rec room, living room. We got everything we need, Xbox 360, Wii, PS2, all the video games, got a movie shelf, cable TV, huge luxury item we just got, internet, a couch that folds out into a bed, a table, a lamp. This lamp's really cool. Tap it, and it turns on. It's pretty sweet. We got, a fan. There's that thing. This is Moo Moo. Yeah, it's really fat. He likes the camera too. So this is his pad too. He shares this. He thinks he runs it. Yeah, you think you run it. He's a good cat. And that's the living room.
Oh, to be 22 again, living in a single bedroom apartment in 2007. Honestly, this was a fun idea. We shot with a old, I say old now because it is ancient to some, a PowerShot little Canon digital camera that at best probably had 30 frames per second, as you can see here, and had a built-in microphone. Honestly, decent quality for the price back then, and this was all edited in Windows Movie Maker. So this is kind of not really the origins, but the start of what was my very first YouTube upload. So almost 20 years ago now, I uploaded to the platform prior to any of what it looked like or functioned like today, and even prior to any ads and revenue and any of that stuff. This predated all of that. And this was just kind of the origin of, let's throw something up on YouTube and then not upload a video for about a year and a half again, until I got some ideas of what I wanted to do next. And that was video game reviews. Alright, welcome to my first review blog video. It's for Box News. Hopefully I'm going to be doing weekly reviews for everyone. Covering a variety of games, new and old, trying to cover the newest games for everyone so they get an idea of what they should or shouldn't be playing. This first one I'm going to talk about is the Halo Reach beta. I know it's not the full game, but enough people are playing this right now, so I figured I could talk about it and give my thoughts. I'm actually playing it right now and getting owned, but that's nothing out of the usual. Oh boy, here's one of those things that you just don't think of, but is an accidental reminder from everyone that watched your early content. They will always point out the holy sock. They're my church socks. But yeah, what a rough origin, but honestly, I just wanted to make some quick videos and share with you my passion. And Fox News was a mockery of Fox News for those that were aware of the logo and things I was doing at the time. So I thought it was just kind of fun satire, which really related nothing to actual news, other than it was just a quick game review, and I started incorporating the clips the best I could with a flip video camera that I had gotten from my now wife, but back then fiance, because I had this idea of wanting to make videos. I thought it was really cool. And again, this predates. This is 2010.
This is predating social media influencers and a lot of the stuff that exists is very commonplace with your phone now. So it was one of those things like, it was a great idea on paper. And honestly, it motivated me to expand my video production skills. And within 2 years, I was then going to college for that very thing, for graphic design, for video production and editing. So you're going to see over the course of this My DNA series, and even some things within this particular video even, the advancement of my skill set and abilities and creativity being put to use. This particular series of box news ended up going on for roughly 95 episodes over a few year span with a few breaks in between. A lot of it having to relate to relocating where we had lived and a few life changes, such as marriage, obviously, and career choice changes. But it was a great kind of foundation for what would later become DNA. So it was a foundation for everything that exists today. So I'm grateful for the experience. And you can watch, just like the first video, you can go back and watch this in its entirety. It's on my personal channel as well as the DNA channel. So just don't laugh too hard. But as you can see here, it was something, surely. But even before this all, I was creating videos in high school. Short films, among other things. Let's take a look at one of those.
Well, I'm sorry. What am I supposed to do? Oh, God, you rat! Why'd you... Oh.
Oh, and I want my underwear back, too.
How could she? Screw it. This thing don't even work now. There we go. I know what I'm doing.
Man, I wonder what he wants. Man, sure hope none of our friends have screwed themselves over. Last time he called me, Mikey was having his problems. Hopefully it's not Travis. Him and his girl, you know. Oh, figure out what's going on. Man, I gotta go to tennis practice too. Rob! You caught? Man, Rob, what's going on?
Dude, we gotta go find Travis.
Alright, get in.
The woods, he likes to hide out there.
Alright, I'm in. Watch out, guy. I'm coming in here, man. I think I know that car.
Go get him. Alright, you go that way. Catch up to me later. Gotcha.
Dude, where'd Rob go? Rob, where'd that kid go? Oh, crap. Ah, man, you okay? Where'd that guy go? Maybe if I get up in this tree, I'll be able to see something better. Oh, that's not good. I know you're out there. Show yourself. Oh, I think I see Travis. where'd Travis go? I gotta find him. There's something going on. Travis! Man, where have you been? We've been looking for you all over the place. Dude, there's something got robbed. We gotta get out of here, man. Come on, let's go. We gotta go back to my car. We gotta figure out. We gotta go to the cops or something. Come on, man. Cut in time. Cut. Dude, man, where can he be?
Roughly 2002, 2003, if I can recall correctly, was a short film project called The Dude, Where is the Killer Project. Basically a satire making fun of all the horror that was popular at the time. And this was all kind of one take, as you can see, the cut signals. There was no editing done with this whatsoever, just one shot in sequential order. So if we got the take, we just rolled with it. All one take over the course of 2 days, I think. And this was for a high school film class. As far as a submission we did, we had the opportunity to create a short film. And we did this, like I said, just one take for each shot here, and you could tell clearly. And this was all shot on an old VHS camcorder with the black and white viewfinder, and you just hear the creaking because it had the manual zoom on the handle. And that thing, man, that microphone right next to the handle, which you held one hand, it was heavy. And you can hear the creaking. There's even some shots, too, where Rob got a shadow in it. Obviously, that breaks the immersion of some of the POV stuff. It was just a fun project here, and even Matt, as the director in many of these shots, you could hear him saying, and cut, signaling where we're supposed to end. So it was all just kind of talked about before the scene. This is what we need. And I don't even know if we practiced the take. I don't recall. I know we just got into our, quote, costume, and we did the take. And we did this after school and then on a weekend. I think it was on a Friday. This was us coming out of, I think there was like a musical that we were part of. So we had our change of clothes with us so we could get back into costume for the characters. And then myself here, of course, I'm just the killer of it all, killing my friends because of a bad breakup. It was obnoxious and just stupid. But it's one of those things. I wrote a script to do a sequel, and we always talked about what would this be like all these years later. What would a sequel be like? Because it had an ending to this, and you could see the full video on the YouTube as well. It was a cliffhanger ending, spoiler. And we did our own stunts here, again, all one take. We have this sequence here where Rob's shadow will come into play, and he'll actually say, he says, shit. We're submitting this to high school. Obviously, it's not a terrible thing, but submitting a video with cussing in high school is probably frowned upon. But freedom of expression with creativity, I suppose, with this medium. I did my own stunt here, too. So you'll see there was a brief cut there because Rob didn't know that the sequence ends. So there was like a weird brief cut. And we did this in one take, my own stunt, my one and only. It's just me running up onto the trunk of the car. So there are other videos that predate this as well. About a year or two prior, I'd borrow my dad's camera, and we just film random stuff such as band practices, stuff that we were trying to be like the popular TV show at the time, Jackass, which is wild. 25 years later, they're doing their final movie, supposedly final movie. But man, what a time period, honestly. This was fun though. But we have other things that predate it. But let's go a little bit into the future with this next one. Let's talk post college. Well, no, I think this was during or towards the end of college when I started documenting my time on various film sets. And I started branding myself T-Rue or True and trying to run with that as my own production company. So I figured I'd do another satire, because that's kind of what I've always done, with True Life, or T-Rue Life.
Welcome to True Life. This is the first episode, and you're going to follow around me and my journeys and what I do day in and day out. Today's episode features the final day of the True Law production, and then it goes on towards the weekend and other events, which should be mildly interesting to you. So enjoy this very first episode of this brand new series by True Productions called True Life. Or without having trademark infringement, it's T-Rue Life. So let's go with that. That way we don't get sued. Enjoy the show. So this is the nonsense I live in. Cold ass Michigan. Yeah. Sucks. So, a lesson about doing productions. I always wait for a call time and a location. Because things change at the drop of a dime. Yeah, and that's the situation I'm at now. So I went to location and picking up a prop and then heading to the new location. So I'm really unsure now what the plan is, but I'm sure we'll document that as this goes on.
At least Waz is good for something.
So one of the things that I'm probably the most proud of as far as credit-wise is the fact that I am on IMDb not once, but twice as a production assistant. I know that's nothing crazy. I didn't make any substantial money whatsoever. But the fact that I exist on IMDb is just a testament to the hard work I was doing during this time period and everything I strive for with my ambition into filmmaking. With this particular production, you're getting behind the scenes on this is one of the few that I did document, because some of them we had NDAs we couldn't document behind the scenes on. And then I did have, during this time, I think one, if not two hard drives crashed on me, which lost me a substantial amount of data. So some of this footage from this time period was lost, unfortunately. I was never able to recover it. But for this mini-series that I did for True Life, I think I put out 9 episodes on, which we may sprinkle in throughout this My DNA series to give you some more insight. But this is the very first episode, and I thought it was kind of a just raw edit. And again, this is early 2010s, as you saw there on the date. So this is another thing, too. This was kind of starting to happen on YouTube, but not like fully fleshed out like this. And now you see this from so many creators. And the pandemic is really the explosion of content creation like this. But this is another thing, too, that predates it. And this is, for me, I felt like I was really starting to step up my editing game to showcase some stuff. I still had ways to go, but it was really well done, in my opinion, especially at that time. During this, too, on screen there, I got to meet now for my forever friend, Jen. Grateful for that experience. We met each other on one of the first nights of this production and just got sat as a stand-in for setting up a shot for a scene at some restaurant in downtown Detroit. They said, hey, just sit here. And me, I can't just sit awkwardly in silence. It's never been my forte. So I'm friendly by nature, and immediately her and I just became really great friends, and still to this day, still fantastic friends, and I'm grateful for that. So it's one of those things so I didn't make any money on this set. I didn't get a lot of connections, but I did make, forever friends. So sometimes in life, that's more than a paycheck. I should say often in life, that's even better than a paycheck. So, yeah. So let's now talk about a little bit more in college. I want to show one of the many things that I worked on. And this was kind of another, I don't know if you want to call it satire or just kind of making fun of gaming competitions, we came up with the concept as a group project for this next video, and it was all pertaining to what if there was a world championship for Hungry Hungry Hippos, and providing what would be the precursor to me doing commentary on a quote sporting event. It's just funny, all these years later I would create a thing called NAW, which we'll show later on in this video too. But this kind of served as the starting point to, hey, maybe you should do some commentary. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hungry Hungry Hippo World Championship.
Competitors all across the world come to play this very dangerous and outrageous game.
A little bit of history before we introduce the rules.
In 1978, the great Milton Bradley created this fantastic game which is called Hungry Hungry Hippos.
He traveled the world to find 4 rare and hungry hippos for this great competition we have today.
Now that you're all so anxious, let's take you down to the stadium and explain all the rules.
First off, the competitors must choose one of the 4 rare hippos. Each have their own name, strengths, and weaknesses.
Happy is pink and very loving, but his biggest weakness is compassion.
Henry is orange and plays with great wisdom, but lacks in stamina.
Homer is green and is probably the most powerful of all the hippos, but his weakness is
dope. Harry, the yellow hippo, is very fast, yet lacks in precision.
Once a competitor has chosen their hippo, they must place 5 marbles into the marble release area adjacent to the hippo.
A single competitor will then release 1 marble by pressing down on the marble release lever.
When the marble reaches the arena center, the game begins.
The object is to have your chosen hippo eat the marble before the other hippos do so.
The game continues in a clockwise direction, repeating the same marble release process.
Once all the marbles have been eaten by the rare hippos, the judging begins.
The competitors that have their hippo eat the most marbles wins!
Upon winning the championship, the hippo as well as the player earns pride to their homeland as well as a trip to Disney World. Woo!
Thank you all for joining us on yet another Hungry
Hippo World Championship.
Stay hungry. 1, action!
Keep going.
Oh, he broke his neck.
The object should have your
Keep going.
Repeat that line over.
Shut up. The competitor that had... Whoa.
He's dropping his...
Okay, stop. No, don't stop. Don't stop.
All right. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the inaugural premiere debut of Gnaw. Give you something to gnaw on. It's probably not going to be the tagline. Come up with something if you think of something more clever than that. If you're just joining us and you're on Facebook, hop on over to twitch.tv/doseofnerdacumen or check us out on youtube.com/doseofnerdacumen. The chat's going to be active and live there, and please be sure to cast your vote on each match that you're seeing tonight, as you can score points. And then if you win at the end of the show, you, the viewer, will get to decide next week's main event, where you can pick your own character, put them in a title match, pick somebody else, maybe screw them over, put them in a handicap match, example being Rob against 3 other people. That'd be an amazing main event to watch, or would it? So, without further ado, we're going to hop on over, and Eric the Dead, is that Dead Mouse? That's pretty sweet. Without further ado, we're going to hop on over and get this thing started. So, this is Gnaw, Nerd Acumen Wrestling. Hope you're ready. buddy.
Oh, we do too.
We're playing wrestling.
We'll watch this.
You want to watch wrestling? I think you have to go night night though. Oh!
Let's go.
Night night, buddy.
Oh, woo-hoo.
After we have to go night night, okay?
Give Daddy kisses.
Mm-mm. No, bye, buddy. Go watch a movie.
Oh.
Because it's night nights.
Come on.
Night night, buddy. Oh man, June 4th, 2018. This was not the very first show, nor the very first idea that we created for DNA as a group. It was honestly my last idea that I had left as far as content creation. And this was mostly due to the fact that I wanted DNA to be a channel that was a channel that had shows. It wasn't a bunch of streamers just streaming games. It was us being a broadcast show, and each person behind the channel had their own flavor to provide you with. And that's ultimately what NAW was. I pitched the idea to the guys at the time in DNA, and ultimately none of my ideas, and we'll show you next what was the original concept of the weekly dosage, as well as clips from the Classics Lounge series. But ultimately, this was kind of my final idea. Oh, I also had a Sims show, too. That was short run. But anyway, this was the last ditch effort that I had. This was, I didn't have any other ideas left. I didn't know what to do. I was going to go back to clean slate drawing board. But I said, hey, let's try this out. I like wrestling. It's fun doing commentary. I wasn't really good yet. But let's do this. Let's create ourselves as wrestlers, not these over-the-top characters. But let's just be us. It's another way to promote us on the channel as being the group of people. And then our viewers can be the participants as well. Anybody that wants to be a part of this, do it. This is before the explosion of leagues on Twitch as well. Yeah. Again, the pandemic really ignited all of that, and now everybody has one. This show would last longer than anything else I've ever produced. Over several years, producing 1,025 episodes and having hundreds of people come and go throughout it, making friends, making enemies, and just ultimately making success with an idea that I didn't think would work. And it took some time. But I'm thankful for the creativity that came through this show, because, man, it was awesome. So reflecting back, looking back at this very first episode, it was really raw, it was rough, but it was fun. And I'm glad it existed, and I'm thankful to have this all archived. There's a YouTube channel dedicated to just this show out there if you ever want to watch anything and everything, by all means. Check it out. But let's talk about the failed attempts at creating content, the origins of a few shows, such as the Classics Lounge, The Sims, and then, of course, the weekly dosage. Let's take a look at some of that. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Good. I can see the audio levels. Hopefully, I'm not too loud. Hopefully, I'm not too quiet. Let me know if I need to make any adjustments. Let me make an adjustment to this chat here. There we go. Cool. So, welcome back, everyone. I can hear myself. Jesus. That's terrible. So this week, I'm playing yet a different game. So if you've tuned into my other streams, you probably had seen me playing The Sims for 10 weeks straight. Well, I decided a few weeks back to change things up. We did some construction sets. We did some Dead by Daylight. We did some Fortnite. So I'm jumping around a little bit, just kind of get a feel for what I kind of want to play. And I'm embracing the inner Eric, the inner ADD of myself. And I just kind of wanted to try some different things to see really what you guys want to watch and give you some variety as well. Whether you're watching the channel for the first time or you're going through our library on YouTube, this way you have a little bit to go through. So this week's game is something pretty dear to my early gaming career. or life, really. This game came out in November of 1992. However, I do not believe I got this game until 93 Christmas. So I would have been just shy of 9 years old. And I had got this. Whoa, what was that? Old?
Older than me?
Haters. Haters.
Older than me?
So I got this with a few other games. At the time, the Power Rangers were starting to become a thing. They had beat 'em ups. Tetris had been a few years out already on this system. And I'm trying to think what other games. Wario was a game that came out after this that I really got into. But for some reason, I had two other step siblings at that time. And we each got this, the Game Boy. This is the one from when I was a kid, the same one that I had. So I've held on to this. The pixels are all cracked now. But I've held on to this since, and it's one of the ones I'll never get rid of.
Maybe close the curtains.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it keeps focusing on the window.
Oh, is it? Are we getting a lot of glare in the window? Let me fix that for you guys. There. Better? Cool. Sorry about that. Getting feedback. So, again, I was just shy of 9 years of age. At this time in my life, the only other systems I had played would have been the Atari. That was my first console. And the NES. I don't believe I had a Super Nintendo till right after this. At least one to call my own. I had a stepsister at the time that played a lot of Super Nintendo, but I inherited it. It wasn't mine. But I definitely played it more, thanks to Legend of Zelda. But this was my first handheld. I had many after, many iterations of the Game Boy. I even had a Game Gear, if you guys remember those battery hogs. I took like 8 AA's or something crazy like that, and it lasted for 2 hours. Just stupid. And the thing was just ginormous and the screen was tiny. Anyways, but the Game Gear, or not Game Gear, the Game Boy, I had the attachment, so I don't know where those are, but I've held onto this. But I had the magnifying glass to make the screen bigger. I had a little port that you plugged into, where is it? On the side, and it was a battery hub, and it clipped into your belt buckle. So it was totally cool. I had a fanny pack too back then. But it was the 90s. That was cool back then. I swear. It really was. But I just kind of want to show you guys this game, and really I can blab about it as I'm playing. So let's get into some gameplay here, and we'll talk about some things that made this game so just fun and special for me. So as you can see here, it is green because the Game Boy was not in color yet. No color. How did people play this? Why did people like this? Well, they did, and I loved it. So I referenced again many of the attempts that I had thus far, and this is again right before, literally just a couple months before NAW would start. And this was at a point where I had tried other things, like The Sims. We had been our ongoing series of the Weekly Dosage, which had rotational content. But this was another thing to bring back. And honestly, Classics Lounge had a lot of success. It brought in new viewers, depending on the game that was being played. But we covered primarily 90s-based content. We dabbled in some early 2000s gaming, but it was mostly 90s-based stuff from Game Boy, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Nintendo, and a little bit of Nintendo 64. And a lot of this was through emulation at the time. We hadn't had the full access to Nintendo Switch Online yet, so most of it was through emulation because that was the easiest way to capture footage at that time. So for your purists out there, I apologize, but it was just the easiest way to capture footage. For a vast majority of these games, I did have the physical copies and still do. But again, for capture footage sake and quality at the time, we were trying to produce the best looking content because that would separate you from other channels out there. We wanted quality, so that was important to us. And honestly, the overlay and everything that we were doing here at this time looked really good. Classics Lounge featured again a bunch of games, had guest hosts on it based on their favorite gaming memories, and that's really what it was. It was a nostalgia trip on retro content, which still to this day I'm passionate about. But fun origin there. This was one of the early, streams here for Classics Lounge. We did, almost 50? different games for that series before it kind of fizzled out. Most of it because I focused almost 100% of my attention at that point within the first year of NAW to making that the flagship show, because that's where everyone was coming in from to watch was NAW. And that would be the focus for several years for the channel, which had its goods and had its bads. We'll talk more about that throughout this My DNA series. But let's take a look at The Sims and then the pilot of the weekly dosage. Go ahead and skip tutorials. I've played The Sims before. However, this just launched for consoles. No. Let's build a house. So this one I should have done more prep work on, I think, to have made for a far more interesting stream for viewers. While The Sims has its core fan base, I think for the casual, this is a tough one to get and keep engagement on. The mindset behind this was, again, another marketing strategy to showcase the DNA house, right? It was the three people that worked for DNA at the time living together, and it was another way for me to promote not only myself, but the other two who were not part of this stream, but also to acknowledge for new viewers, hey, who's that person? Who's that person? Well, they're with DNA. Go check out their stuff on this night of the week, because we offer multiple people working for the channel. So my strategy, as you can see here, being, again, pretty consistent as far as not only showcasing but marketing myself, but marketing the others as well to try to build up our foundation of what we were doing as a channel. What I should have done is flesh this a little bit more out, had the house built, had some idea of a reality show behind this, and just really had some better ideas for it instead of just, hey, I'm going to build a house. Hey, I'm going to do this. So it was not thoroughly well thought through. The idea was there, but it needed to have been fleshed out a little bit better. This, however, would be a premise built into a later show for NAW, which we called NAW Legends House, which was hosted by Andrea Lana and myself, featuring people from the wrestling roster living together, much like a satire, yet again, for a Legends House that existed for WWE. And The Sims just made sense for it. For one, it was a way to get Andrea Lana involved because she loves The Sims. So it just kind of brought all those things together. And that went 3 different seasons of roughly less than 10 episodes each. And that was fun. It had a whole concept behind it, a voting process, vote people out, which would end in their demise of their character. But check out that series too. That's a real fun one. And we have all 3 seasons available. And they have playlists that you can watch them all. So, but yeah, on to the weekly dosage, which lasted in 3 different stints now in total. What did we end on? 168 episodes-ish so far. But it started being filmed on an iPad in my living room of my first home. So it was rough around the edges, but again, another one of those, if you look back at the first episode of the weekly dosage and compare it to the box news ones you saw, it was a step up in the right direction. We weren't there yet, but we were getting there. All right, welcome everyone to the very first weekly dosage episode. This week we're going to be covering the SNES Classic, which I'm assuming some of you out there got. Others are probably still struggling to find one in stock. I'm hearing myself echo, that's weird. So comment away, let me know what your thoughts are. If you have an SNES Classic, if you don't have one, if you think it's garbage, if you think it's amazing, what you wanted to see on it, what you're mad that's on there. Just really any of your thoughts. This whole episode tonight is going to be about the SNES Classic, and we're doing this live on Facebook. It'll be posted after this on YouTube for you to rewatch, and it'll be available, of course, on here on Facebook. So I'd like to run a little clip real quick. We did an unboxing So if you want, check that out. This will be a short clip, and then we're going to jump into some gameplay of the actual SNES Classic and talk about its various games. So without further ado, here's our first clip. It's finally arrived. Thanks to ThinkGeek.com. What we have in front of you here is an airbag. No, just kidding. ThinkGeek. No, it actually arrived, but most of you have been waiting for and wanting the SNES Classic. You know, I gotta be honest with you. Filming this as a live stream to Facebook Live at the time through the means of an iPad, which would have lower third graphics, cutscenes that were airing, all just broadcast live. This for 2017, I don't know, for me it felt pretty high-tech and advanced for what I had available to me. I didn't have a capture card yet. That would be later gifted to me. We had a computer, but it was purchased for Andrea for her Sims playing. And I didn't really want to say, hey, can I use that? Because then it was like, did you really buy it for me? And yes, I did, genuinely. But I'm grateful that she let me kind of take it over for the years I did. But currently she has it back with full access in her room. Our room, I say. And she's back to playing Sims again. But it's one of those things, like, honestly, this was such a great idea, but this was the only episode that was filmed this way. We'd have Eric come into episode 2, which he was using his laptop with a capture card and stuff like that, because he had most of this set up at the time. We ended up using his for a while, and then we'd end up using Rob's shortly after that as well, for a good chunk of the shows. And then it transitioned into me primarily using it for mine with the NAW setup. But this was really good. It was about a half-hour episode live streamed with cutscenes, gameplay footage, narrative on an unboxing. So it had a little bit of everything, and it was a very exciting time because it was the Super Nintendo Classic. These mini consoles were everything. So I was pretty stoked. But this was the weekly dosage. Again, we went on over 150 episodes with such a variety of content. One of the most creative shows that we did outside of NAW for the channel that had as many episodes. I mean, nowhere near but it was awesome. So beyond that, as far as Origins, other things that we did in the beginning was simple unboxing videos in general, or just short form videos of behind the scenes. But ultimately, with that, I want to give you just a couple of those, and then closing this first episode with my greatest creation of a series ever, and in general, the greatest one of 2 creations that I've ever had in my life. So we'll close with those videos, and I hope you've enjoyed this first episode, and I hope more are to come. So stick around for my DNA and enjoy the ride. Welcome everyone to this month's Loot Crate. It is Dystopia, and it's for June 2016. So this will feature my opening of it, and we'll get to see all the cool contents that are inside. I'd like to thank my lovely wife, Andrea, for getting me a subscription to this. It's probably one of the coolest gifts any nerd could ever get. So without further ado, here is what is inside this month's Dystopia June 2016 Loot Crate. So as you can see here, the Loot Crate is dystopian theme, which if you don't know is things like Fallout, Matrix, RoboCop, and so on. So immediately opening it, we're going to see what looks like to be a t-shirt, a puzzle from the Matrix, and a cool Dorbs, kind of like a PopCap figurine. So it's from Fallout. So let's take a closer look. So indeed, the puzzle is 300 pieces, and it is of that image from the Matrix, which is really cool. Puzzles are fun. Matrix, also great film franchise. Some of you hate it. Well, the sequels anyway, some of you hate. But this is a fun little, gift. So as you can see here, we have the Power Armor little toy there. It's part of a series, so number 104, meaning there's tons of these Dorbs out there. I know some of you are probably huge collectors. I haven't gotten into collecting these, but this may start my cool collection, especially if these are featured in every month of Loot Crate. So real cool thing here. Love Fallout. Absolutely love Fallout 4. I've spent way too many hours in that. and there's still more content to come in that game, so I'll be spending so much more time. So real cool gift here. This will look great on my desk. So now you see here more Fallout stuff. For those who don't know, this is the mini nuke in Fallout, something that's been pretty iconic for the Fallout franchise, and it is a pin. So really cool item here, again from Fallout, the Fallout franchise. So now we have a little die cast, or tin, if you will, from Terminator 2, arguably one of the best films in that franchise, easily one of my favorites and most memorable, especially from when I was a kid. Seeing an action movie like that, it sticks with you. It also has some of the best one-liners that we quote to this day, so really cool addition here. So this is really neat. This is actually a blank key, meaning that you can get it for your home, any lock that you may have that goes to this type of key, maybe even your car, if it works with that. But it's a blank key, and how it's significant, as you can see, it's BioShock Infinite. It's the songbird had ties to Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite, which is arguably the best in that franchise. So another cool addition to this month's Loot Crate. And last, but definitely not least, is a t-shirt that usually comes, from what I understand, in every single box. This one featuring, of course, RoboCop, from the original RoboCop franchise, not the silly reboots that we're getting. Pretty cool. Comes in the size that you prefer, so it got in my size, which I'm happy about. Nobody likes a t-shirt that's too small, unless you're like some macho dude trying to show off, which I'm not. So really cool. So that basically concludes the Loot Crate dystopian theme, June 2016. So pretty cool contents. Hopefully you enjoyed them, and this gives you an idea of what to look forward to for every single Loot Crate that you get once a month. Well, thanks for watching my unboxing of this month's Loot Crate. If you enjoyed this video, I have tons of others like it on my channel and more to come. So please hit that little subscribe button down below, comment, just let me know your thoughts on it. So again, thank you for checking out this month's Loot Crate, and take care, everyone. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the WWE 2K17 unboxing for Xbox One of the NXT edition. It's a little bit more expensive, and it contains some really cool stuff. Let's go ahead and open this thing up and take a look at what's inside. All right, so we've opened up the box. One of the big first things that we see is indeed the Finn Balor collectible figurine, ages 14 up, choking hazard. So if you have little ones, keep them away. That is probably what makes this thing $99, but it also comes with the pre-order bonus of the Goldberg pack, an exclusive NXT pack. Basically, you get a few extra characters, including Nia Jax, Paulo Crews, Shinsuke Nakamura. You can only get those for a limited time through this. Eventually, they will be available for download, but for right now, we'll have them out the gate. You also see here a autographed Shinsuke Nakamura lithograph here. Well, kind of lithograph. To the left here, you get card pack with collectible cards inside. There's exclusive for the NXT. And then finally, the 2K17 game for the Xbox One. This is also available on PS4, PS3, and Xbox 360. I, however, have chosen the Xbox One version. So this is everything that you get for $99. Season Pass is sold separately. So if you're a collector, definitely worthwhile. If not, it's just cool stuff to have. I'm sure you can find figurines of Balor elsewhere. But the real shining thing is, if it's actually autographed by Nakamura himself, this right here could be worth something potentially. So cool stuff. Thank you for checking out my videos. Stay tuned for more unboxing videos as we approach this fall season of gaming. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, share button, leave a comment. Thanks a lot, everyone. We were never more curious about something
until we received this box.
Do not open until November 2015.
What would make us wait so long to find out what's inside? now is the part where you fancy me mad. Mad with excitement to announce.
We are expecting.
Beats really fast.
It's not to be fast. It's about twice as fast as heart rate.
Yeah, look at the camera.
All right. They're cool.
Oh, fuck. Nope, that really hurt. I knew it was icy. Ow.